to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. Um, Today's a Friday, and for some people, the 4th of June could be the start of something awesome. For some, it could be the start of something terrible. I don't know what. Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MK. What are they doing with themselves? James, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. I don't know how you live your life, how you conduct yourself. But I've decided to just have a great life. It's not easy. You got to get up. You have to be a vegan. You have to tell everybody you're better than them because you're a vegan, because you don't eat cows, you don't believe in suffering. So that's my new movement. Is I'm kind of thinking today I'm just going to start off and basically just do everything to kind of at least look like a good person. I woke up feeling that way, and I've got to tell you, I see the benefits. I do see the benefits, even if I'm not a good person. Just waking up and telling people, listen, I'm a vegan. I painted a church last week or whatever. So just thought I'd share kind of where I am, James. Before I hand you over to James, he's got the cap look going today. Very, very interesting. So I don't know if it's a hair thing. He's just going with the swag look. We'll find out now from a man who is renowned now in Vietnam for his coffee influencing. Now a man with a lady who cannot come over to his house because he's quarantining. We're still not sure if she's real or an android like Scarlett Johansson in that one movie. I think it's called Her. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, James Jimbo Illingsley.
So to answer the cap question, I was too lazy to do my hair this morning, so that's where we are.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I've
lazy to do your hair.
I've reached that stage of quarantining.
Oh my gosh! So what is your traumas too much for you to be able to get up and comb your hair?
Look, it is tough. I'm constantly worried about my colleagues that have COVID. For those listening, in case you aren't aware, MKT does have COVID. And that's been weighing on my mind, and that's just I couldn't stick with the thing for that long.
Listen, I didn't want to talk about it, but since you brought it up, I do have COVID, and I think it's important that as I've got COVID, I should inconvenience everyone and pretend that my life is super hard.
For sure.
Which it's not, by the way. Like, I'm a little bit, my middle class life has been a little bit inconvenienced for 10 days.
But how's it been inconvenienced? You still, have a roof over you. I don't understand what you mean when you say it's been inconvenienced.
Well, I'm a little bit sick, right? I can't, for me, I'd actually wake up at 4 in the morning and go to the gym normally. I'd normally, the weekends coming up, I'd go running, right? I might go out for a brunch with a friend. I can't do that now. I am not suffering.
Crisis.
Yeah.
Absolute
There's a lot
crisis.
of people who would want to paint this as suffering. I know Gal Gadot would probably expect me to sing a song online.
Oh no, you can't wake up at 4 in the morning. Travesty. No. Wow.
James, you better start taking your health and wellness seriously.
I am. I'm taking vitamins every morning.
No, that's not what I meant.
No?
No.
What did you meant then?
What I meant it was that you're making fun of me for going to gym in the morning. You should be doing it.
At 4 o'clock.
Everyone should.
At 4 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
Well, do it anytime.
Look, I'm down to do it anytime, and that is the plan. Once I finish this COVID period that I'm in.
Yes. Because COVID changed everything.
Yeah.
And you know what? If it hadn't been for COVID, you would have started gym this week, and it's just so annoying that it came now because you had planned to start now. Is that where we're going? Good.
I know what that sounded like, but in all honesty, I have been thinking about it over the last sort of 3 or so weeks, and I need to get healthier, guys. So here we are.
So let's get into it, James. Well, I mean, we got to put a bit of public pressure on you here now that you've announced it. What are we thinking there?
I used to drink a lot of water, but not so much anymore. So I want to drink more water, which is great stuff. Easy first start, you know.
Yes.
And then I also want to play more football on the weekends, because like at the moment it's every sort of odd weekend, or like when me and my mates are available to do it, that kind of thing. But I want to do it like regularly. And I enjoy running on the treadmill, so I want to go back to the gym and like do treadmill things again.
But maybe you should try and find an activity that doesn't need your friends. Otherwise, your health and wellness relies on other people's moods. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if I start going to the gym again, I don't like need someone with me to go and work out. Like I said, I do enjoy like running on the treadmill. So like after work or whatever, I wouldn't complain about having to go to the gym and like work out and I don't want to do this, that kind of thing. You know?
What about running on the road there, James?
Oh, can't stand it. I can run on the treadmill for a solid like 1.5, 2Ks, no stops. But when I'm running on like real terrains, like not even 500 meters.
So, James, problem there is treadmill. You're basically begging for your knees to be finished within the next 5 years. Not sure if you're aware of that. Unless you buy like a high-tech treadmill, it's guaranteed. I mean, treadmills are murder on the dance floor for your knees and shins.
That is something I didn't know. Another thing that is probably murderous for your knees is what's it called? The jump rope, which I also wanted to do. But
Awesome.
because I am uncoordinated and 6'3", jumping a rope in my apartment is not easy. I watched about 28 tutorials on how to jump rope and failed at every single one of them. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, because like when I went in December to my parents, they were like, "Oh yeah, you've picked up weight," and I was like, "Thanks for that."
Way.
And then
So what did your old lady say, "Hey, tubby"?
she did. So on the day I was leaving, as I was like picking up my bags and stuff, my mom gave me my brother's. What do you call them? Do you call it a jump rope?
Well, yeah, a skipping rope, whatever.
Yeah. So my mom gave me that, and then I was like, cool. I'm gonna do this like in my apartment in evenings, and like maybe when I wake up in the mornings, I'll jump for a bit and stuff like that. And then for like the first week, I was watching YouTube videos on how to jump rope, and then I'd watch the video, and then I'd be like, easy stuff. And then I'd get up and try and start doing it, and then I'd do 2, and then it would hit my legs, or like I'd do 3, and then it would hit my head or something, and then the jump rope just kind of sits in my apartment now.
Well, that's a really difficult skill. I mean, if you really want to learn how to do it, it's the boxes that'll show you how to do it. That they are next level, but it'll take some time. You've got to take 3 months or so to learn it. You know, so it's like anything.
Yeah, it's not easy because I also have the habit of when I jump, like I bend my legs backwards, and you're actually supposed to keep them straight to engage your core, and I just like it's just a habit to bend my legs backwards. Like it's not a core issue, it's just a habit. So that also kind of messes me up.
James, I encourage this. I like what you're saying. You're getting in the right mindset, and that's where you got to be. So as long as you start something, I mean, the football thing's a nice idea, but it just needs too many people. Like you got to find 2 or 3 alternatives where it's just you. You know, like gym's hard, man. It's hard. You got to get out your house. You got to go to the gym.
The thing,
There's a lot of excuses you can make. You know what I mean?
so the thing that draws me towards the football thing is like being outside and like the fresh air and that whole vibe. Like it's great to go to a gym, but you're still sort of in a building, and it's still like, when you're playing football, you can, manage how much you run or how much you.
Yeah, but James, this isn't Pride and Prejudice. Like, forget about having a good time. I'm pretty sure your mom wants to go on a holiday with you. Once you're a successful editor and big time movie guy in 10 years, she'd like you in your best health. We don't want to hear that I want to go pick flowers with my friends at the football field. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares about you want to go and enjoy it with your friends and be outside. You got to get on this thing. And I support you, by the way. To be clear, I love this movement. I like where your head's at. You're already thinking about it. So I think you'll get there, dude.
I'm gonna. I believe it's a mindset thing. So,
Nice.
like, it's great that I want to do it, but if my mind is not in it, then I'm like gonna go to the gym and run on the treadmill for half an hour and then go home and then like say, oh, that was a successful day. Like that's not what I want to be doing. Like I want to be in it fully.
Okay, well, now you've told everyone, James.
I know.
To everybody who will comment today, give us your suggestions. Maybe there's suggestions. James is 6'3". He carries his height well. His mom has body shamed him now.
She has.
And the thing is, I think people can body shame you. I don't think your mom would body shame you. She's going, listen, nobody loves you more than me. I'm not going to watch you descend into the depths of hell that you're on your way to. You know what I'm saying, James?
Yeah, that's her way of saying it. Like, we're a super open family, and like her saying, oh, you a little bit tubby now, or you got some weight on your hips now. Like, that's her way of saying what you've just said. It's not like a whole, okay, let's sit down and like let's approach this carefully. Like that's just like the way we speak to each other.
And shout out to your mom. Like, I'm not an empath, right? It's
Absolutely.
One of my shortcomings.
I've yawned in front of you before, and you have not yawned, which means you lack empathy, which means you're a psychopath.
No, fair enough. Listen, I'll accept it. I mean, not from you, because you didn't even know what brooding meant. So
I'm not exactly a credible source.
No. You are certainly not on this case. But what I want to support is your mom. And I'm willing to body shame you from now on. Because if your mom's willing to tell you, obviously she's saying, please help me rescue my son. So from now on, James, I will body shame you. And every time you think I'm body shaming you, I'm just going to say, I'm supporting your mom who loves you. And if you go against my body shaming, you're clearly saying you don't respect your mom and you don't want her to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
No, because body shaming wouldn't really work. Like, I know what works on me, and like the sort of aggressive approach doesn't. Like, if you're like, oh, James, you're fat. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm very well aware that I have picked up weight. Like, that doesn't, it won't work on me if you came into the office every day and were like, hey, James, you're not losing any weight. Like, I'm not seeing any differences. Or, James, are you even trying? Like, I'd just be like, dude, just, no, stop. So, here's what we're going to do. Everyone listening, I'd love for your suggestions in the comments. And I'm just going to keep you posted. We're not going to body shame James. I'm just going to keep you posted.
We might watch.
No, we're not. But just bear with me, because I'm confined to here for now. So don't give me suggestions where it's like, go to the gym and do 25 reps of whatever. For the next week and a bit, I'm here. So bear that in mind. And then I'll keep you guys posted.
All right. Now, I mean, stay open to the body shaming thing. It may happen, it may not. I'm not saying I won't do it. But, James, I support the movement, dude. I like that you're saying you want to get healthier. And on a very serious level, be healthy for your family. If it's not for you, just do it so that your family can have the best version of you. And the best version of everyone is the healthiest version.
Look, I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and be like 8% body fat like some people.
Probably less now, actually, because that's from 3 months ago. And the last 3 months, I've been training like an animal. But please go on.
But I will be making more of an effort to be more active and not spend so much time like playing Xbox or so much time not being active, you know?
Being sedentary. All right, James, on a very serious note, I really do back that movement. And to everyone at home, like, let's not be funny about it. It's a tricky time for everyone. You know, protocols have changed at work, people's routines have changed, and some people are not comfortable with that. So if you found a way, James, what's your name on social media?
On the gram, it's Ilsley James, Ilsley. No, wait, that's on Twitter. And then on the gram, it's James_Ilsley, Ilsley.
Hey, hit him up with suggestions or body shaming.
Don't hit him up with body shaming. It's just going to lead to ugliness, and we don't need that. We just want to, be positive. Mindset.
I'm staying open-minded. Like, whatever we got to do, James, to support you, to get you there, we're going to do it. So I'm on your mom's side. You're a good guy. I want you to be healthy. And I'm happy for you that you've started this journey. So let's keep going.
Let's push through it,
Tell me something, James.
Yes.
Hey, you know what might be a good way to actually join the health journey? I don't know. Is your lady into the whole health thing?
Yeah.
Oh, what's her gig?
A lot of like at-home workouts in the evenings, like after work.
Maybe you could do the cute couple workout, and you could be the revolting Instagram people who smooch on camera as they're doing like the push-up. That annoying workout couple.
Or that couple where the girlfriend has like the workout clothes on, and then the boyfriend has no shirt on at the top of like Lion's Head in Cape Town.
You could be that couple, James. Imagine, give it 2 or 3 years, and you guys could be that.
Let's keep our options open.
All right. All right, Jumbo. Good stuff. Good to have you with us. Obviously, the Friday 5 today. I thought I'd do what I'm looking forward to in the football off-season. And then we'll do the report card for Liverpool in a bit. Before we do that, James, what do you think about doing this weekend? Are you going to... you've kind of told us now you're obviously going to become Frank Madrano. And if you don't know who that is, you can look him up after the show. Besides incredible amounts of home exercise, what sort of plans you got?
Nothing, because I can't leave the house. So probably, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend this weekend looking for healthy food recipes.
That's nice.
That's what I'm going to do. And then
that's good.
Tonight, I do have plans, but within the confines of my own house.
So, but now, do you do that annoying thing that people do? I once did one of these. Absolutely hated it. I'll never do it again. Where people think we should eat dinner while you're on your laptop, but it feels like we're together.
I'm not a major fan of eating while I'm like on a video call or anything. I get like super self-conscious for some reason. Like, I don't mind eating in front of people when they're like with me, but on a video call for some reason I get super self-conscious.
Have you done any of those where people think it's a good idea to be on a call? Do you know what I mean?
I don't think I have, no.
No, it's mental.
No, so we're doing something similar but without the eating thing tonight.
Are these your plans in the confines of your own home?
Yeah, so we're playing...
Okay, before you say it, James.
Okay.
Is it meant to be a surprise for anybody? Because I know sometimes you just say stuff without really giving it the old noggin.
It just kind of misses the filter, huh?
Well, so before you say it, just think about it. Is this meant to be a surprise for any of your friends?
No, because we planned it over the last sort of 2 days.
Okay, so what's the story?
So after load shedding at some point tonight, because that's fun, we playing Cards Against Humanity, which you can play online, and then we're gonna all hop on like a WhatsApp video call and then just chill and talk about rubbish things and play Cards Against Humanity and have a great time.
Ah, that's very cool. That's very cool. It's good to connect with your friends. So basically, by sort of next week Tuesday, you're gonna have a 6-pack, and you'll have connected with all your friends. So shout out, dude.
I mean, I'm thinking more of an 8-pack by next week Tuesday.
Yes.
I'm thinking 6-pack by Sunday.
Like your Nets.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, good
Yeah.
for you. Both Afrikaans guys, both have a 6-pack. Good for you. James, that beard, it's, it's getting there now.
It is.
I think we're all having fun, and we get that your lady likes the whole mountain man thing, but it's getting disrespectful now. We know your mom hates it. Let's shave it. I mean, you've got a shaver at home. Shaving cream.
I will be trimming it this weekend for sure.
Yeah, dummy.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. All right, Jimbo. Good to have you with us, pal.
Good to be here.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. The Friday Fun. By the way, I'm doing this on my phone today just to see whether the sound's better, and I'll try and find a solution over the weekend. Obviously, because I've got COVID, that makes me better than everyone, and it means I can be lazy, and everyone has to put up with it.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's what having COVID means.
Put that out there.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, having COVID is not the end of your life. I know, like 1% of the society tragically has lost their lives, but if you're fine, please stop pretending your life's hard. It's not. Like if you're like me and you're middle class, stop crying. Like if you live in the townships or the rural homelands, or you have very little money, I totally understand why this would be a terrible situation. Like just terrible. If you live in the northern suburbs of Johannesburg, shut the hell up. You've got awesome medical care, food, and an incredible apartment. Shut up, get on with it.
I do apologize massively. There's a man with a leaf blower. I don't know if anybody could hear it because I know this mic is super sensitive. But
if
anybody can hear it, I do apologize.
It's okay, James. You don't have to apologize to anyone. You're about to get a 6-pack in 3 days. Forget him. All right, Jumbo. Let's get into it. The Friday 5. The 5 things I'm looking forward to this off season for football. Now, there's a few things. A lot of them are just about me, but a lot of them I think we can all share and sort of have a consensus about. At number 5, listen, a lot of my holidays as a child were spent in this country, between the ages of 8 and 13. At number 5, they've got cool people. It's a great country. It's the first time they've ever been at a major tournament. They invented the sauna. For crying in a bucket, they always get shoved to the side when people talk about Scandinavia, but it is the backbone of sort of chemical engineering globally. They're an incredible country. Innovation personified. If you haven't been to Helsinki, do yourself a favor. At number 5, I'm looking forward to Finland at the Euros. They are just different people. They do it their own way, and it is going to be awesome to see some of their fans and hear them singing. They gave us Bjork, by the way, so really looking forward to Finland at the Euros. Cannot wait to support my friends and people I consider family as they enjoy their first tournament, which actually matters on a football pitch. At number 4, listen, you know some marriages where people just stay together for the kids? We all know them, and ultimately one party really needs the lifestyle and the money. Like some people don't want to get divorced, because they can't afford to upkeep the other person. That's just the reality of life sometimes. Gareth Bale no longer cares, right? It is Wales, golf, Madrid. Gareth Bale at Real Madrid now for this last year is going to be one of the most uncomfortable things you've ever seen. Because Tottenham are going to take him back. Because you know why? They've seen that he doesn't care. And I love it. It is going to be incredible television to see Real Madrid having to see Gareth Bale sitting on the bench and then teeing off the morning after they lose 3-0 to Getafe at some course in Spain. It is going to be electric TV. I cannot wait to watch it play out. Plus, Bale's agent is not shy to get in the media. This off-season, it is going to be amazing to watch that. So, Wales, golf, Madrid, in that order. I cannot wait to see it. Plus, he's at Euros. You know what makes it better? If Gareth Bale goes to Euros, has the tournament of a lifetime, right? He gets to Wales, has the tournament of life. They get to the semis, he's the top goal scorer, and he makes the team of the season. And then he gets back to Real Madrid, and he's just trying to get a scratch sort of handicap. So at number 4, Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. I cannot wait to see how that unfolds. At number 3, let me tell you a joke. A shark and a lion walk into a bar. Now, wouldn't that be the start of a great joke? That would be the start of an incredible joke. Like a shark and a lion walk into a bar. Listen, Amazon, it is crucial that Tottenham have a part 2 of the documentary series this season, and it needs to start if this man joins this club. 6 months it'll last, at most. But my goodness, I will have my popcorn out from day one. At number 3, Antonio Conte, Daniel Levy. That is going to be a disaster, and I'm here for it, as the young kids say. I am here for it. I cannot wait for it. Are you kidding me? 2 control freaks. Plus, by the way, Antonio Conte is bringing his former football director with him. You think you know control freak. Daniel Levy thinks he knows control freak. Antonio Conte is a control freak. The man Conte is bringing with him is next level. He has fallen out with Juventus, the royal family of Italian football. And he does not feel a thing. He does it his own way. So I'm looking forward to that. It doesn't go more than 6 months. But get the popcorn out. At number 2, he's the most complete 20-year-old I've ever seen since the great Ronaldo of Brazil. R9, if you're my age, you know him as that. I mean, at 19, Ronaldo was at Barcelona and immediately was the best player. The great Sir Bobby Robson said he's never seen anything like him. Mourinho, of course, was a part of the coaching staff at Barcelona when they had a 19-year-old who outside of his own control, was called El Fenomeno, the phenomenon. The phenomenon has come again. This time, though, it comes in a 6'4", Scandinavian, right? Asgard's only chosen son. I mean, listen, get that guy with the hammer out of here. Thor has chosen to be replaced by the rightful prodigal son. The one, the only. The most complete 20-year-old I've ever seen. Outside of Ronaldo. He's big, he's clever, he's technically perfect. He's technically perfect. The head is always up. His distribution is sensational. Ask Sancho. Ask everyone at Borussia Dortmund. He's the best talent on planet Earth below the age of 23. And it's not close. He's mature, he's brilliant, and he's physically imposing. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever happens, Mino Raiola and this young Norwegian are going to set newspapers ablaze for the next 6 weeks. I cannot wait at number 2 to see how Erling Braut Haaland plays out this summer. I cannot wait. It's going to be electric. Mino Raiola is not playing games. At number 1, it went from Mount to Havertz. Havertz went around Edison. And then Delirium in Portugal. Now, on that evening, history was made. A team dismissed. People said they were going to get beaten 5-0. People said Man City were the only team in town. It was Pep's time. Chelsea are useless, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm looking forward to most this off-season is reminding all the haters that Chelsea are champions of Europe, and they did it without you needing to like us. It's been awesome already. It was less than a week ago. People think I've been deplorable on social media for now. This is the COVID version of me. Once I come out from the COVID shell, get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I'm looking forward to is reminding everybody that Chelsea are champions of Europe. The Tuchel touch at number 1, Chelsea Football Club, have dominated them all. And I will remind you for the next 6 weeks across every media platform possible. At number 5, Finland at the Euros. At number 4, Gareth Bale at Real Madrid. At number 3, Antonio Conte getting on with Daniel Levy. At number 2, the second most complete 20-year-old I've ever seen in Erling Braut Haaland. And at number 1, I look forward to reminding everybody, Chelsea, champions. Jimbo, your thoughts?
I'm not going to lie to you, didn't see Finland making it into the Friday 5 today. Interesting. Do you think they're going to be like Iceland was at that one World Cup that we had? Where like they were the team and they had the thunderclap and everyone loved them and they made it far. And
well, hey, the Finnish do like to drink and sing, so they got their own way of celebrating stuff, and they're a raucous bunch of people. But no, they don't have the quality. I mean, Timo Pukki is their best player.
I read something really weird this morning when I was trying to look for the graphics. So and I could be wrong, I could have just seen wrong, but it said that Pukki was an Estonian player.
So was he Estonian born?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Estonia's not far from Finland, so.
I don't know. What was number 4? Gareth Bale. Imagine he has the tournament of his life.
It's going to be incredible.
And I mean, there's a lot of reports going around about Bale at the moment, about him playing his last season at Real, or playing his contract out at Real and then retiring. Apparently he wants to focus on golf and becoming a professional golfer. So interesting career choice there. Whether he'll stay at Real past his contract, I don't know. I think Euros will play a big part in that. He's got a very good relationship with Carlo Ancelotti, so anything's possible. But I do think Bale's sort of passion for football is it's done. I think it might be time for him to move on. I'm not sure. I think Euros will be the sort of tell-all. Antonio Conte and Daniel Levy. I saw a tweet this morning, and it's part of our graphics pack for today's show, where someone said that this marriage is going to be toxic as hell. So that's where we are with I don't think his sort of way of running things will mesh well with Tottenham players.
Are we talking about it in social media with James?
We weren't going to, but I mean we can go a little bit more into it for social media.
But I'm here for it, dude.
I think,
like I told you yesterday, right? Be aware of who you are. Like you were saying earlier, you don't respond to aggressive people. Like maybe, for some people, for me, if you're aggressive with me, I get aggressive back.
Mm.
With some people, if you're aggressive with them, they tend to shut down.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
we're all different in life. And what you got to know is how you respond to certain personality types. If you couldn't handle Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte is another level of demanding.
But I think the relationship at Tottenham with Mourinho and Daniel Levy was a lot different. Yes, Mourinho's considered this sort of super erratic, demanding manager, but after watching that documentary, I think their relationship was a lot different. I think with Conte, it's gonna be sort of like the tweet says, toxic. I think Conte is another level of demanding. And I think Mourinho and Levy actually had a good relationship from what I saw. So I
You
think,
know what?
yeah,
It's sadistic from Tottenham because I hear what you're saying, and maybe this is where we're different as people. But for me, we are who we are. If you couldn't handle Mourinho, you're not going to handle Conte because it's actually the same person. Like the fact that you've convinced yourself that you loved Mourinho more, like eventually Mourinho went back to being Mourinho,
yeah,
and that didn't work for Levy.
mm,
Why would you think the
mm.
Conte situation? Because it's exactly the same guy. You're getting exactly like they don't want to hear about I can't get my targets. Um, they want everybody constantly tense and driven to win. When have Tottenham been comfortable with that? Ever?
I also think he's so Daniel Levy is known to be an owner that's not super keen on just handing out money for transfers, especially with their new stadium development, which is kind of understandable. You've just spent however much money on a new stadium. You don't really want to spend that much until you've made money back on it. And I think Conte is going to be super demanding in the sense that I'm going to want that player, and I need to strengthen the midfield, and I need another sub goalie. And I don't think Daniel Levy is going to be willing to give in to those demands, and that's where I think the relationship's sort of going to
Well, look
crumble.
what's happened. People are who they are. Conte left Juventus, his beloved Juventus, because they wouldn't give him more money, and he said that he couldn't make the project work. He left Chelsea because they refused to give him the money he wanted, and Chelsea will give you money. They weren't willing to give him the money he wanted and the project he wanted. He left. Inter Milan, they weren't willing to give him the money he wanted to keep the squad he wants. He left. What has Tottenham been for 15 years? Underspending, right? And trying to lowball people. It is, But listen, if you're not self-aware in life, you're going to get what you want. And I think for both parties, to be honest, I struggle to see why Conte would take the job. Unless he secures himself a 3-year deal with a massive guaranteed payoff package if there's a fallout.
You know what I think is so attractive about the Tottenham job? It's most certainly not the players. I can tell you that much. But I think it's a thing of some of these big name managers want to be the first manager to turn Tottenham into a real. Like, they're considered part of the Big Six, but some of these big name managers want to be the first manager to turn Tottenham into a real Big Six contender for silverware. And it didn't work with Jose. It probably won't work for Conte. And I think that's why these top tier managers are attracted to this job. That's the only reasoning I can find for it.
You know, one of the great things Steve Jobs and the Woz realized about Apple was that people who start a business are not always the best people to grow the business. Now, it's a mistake that entrepreneurs make all the time. They think if I started it and I get into the third, fourth round of funding, I should still be there, and I don't need a COO. I don't need other people in operations. What really needs to happen, and Daniel Levy needs to wake up to this. he's not the right man to take Tottenham to where they need to go now. He's been brilliant at laying the foundation. What he should do is be a CEO in the background and get a COO type personality who's going to take it to the next level. It's where Roman Abramovich was so brilliant. Nigerian bloke called Emelano, I think it's Michael Emelano, was the technical director in those early years for Chelsea. Go and look up that name. And he understood that you have to let people that understand how to grow in the space manage the business. Daniel Levy has made the classic ego move. It's where Bezos has been brilliant as well. I mean, not sure if you've read the Amazon book, but it's all about operations. And operations people are impossible to find. That's why COOs are often paid more than CEOs. Day-to-day running is murder. And I think Daniel Levy, it's an ego thing. It's a great job at Spurs. Often, people that start things become the bottleneck in their very own companies. And I think we're seeing it playing out. And if you're a Spurs fan, it must be killing.
Look, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe someone unexpected jumps in. I know Nuno has been linked with Everton. Maybe he's the next Tottenham manager. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Imagine you moved off Jose Mourinho to get Nuno Espirito Santo.
Oh, Lord.
I liked Nuno, but what are we doing? You know what I mean?
I think he'd actually be the right sort of personality type for those Tottenham players. I haven't given it much thought into what the relationship between him and Levy would be, though.
Yeah. Hey,
Here we are, huh? Erling Haaland. In the last couple of hours this morning, he's been heavily linked with Chelsea. Apparently, Chelsea have made contact with him, and there's talks there. I don't see him going to Chelsea. I don't know. I think he'll probably end up going to La Liga or Man City.
Listen, they have said at City they will come again and they will make a big impression in the market.
You see, if Tottenham are smart, you know what they should do? They should say, here's Harry Kane, plus Harry Winks. We want Haaland.
To Dortmund?
Mm.
Why would Harry Kane want to go to Dortmund?
I just think it'd be a smart move.
For who?
What do you mean? For Tottenham?
Why is Harry Kane going to Dortmund?
Well,
you've got to remember, he also has degree. It's not just, hey, get the hell out of here. It's not breaking up with your girlfriend.
No, I just mean in an ideal world, a player like Harry Kane and what he's worth, and a player like Haaland and what he's becoming worth, it wouldn't be a terrible sort of strategic move from Tottenham's side, because you're sending off a player that doesn't want to be there to get a younger striker who's consistent. You're not really losing out on much besides experience and probably some money.
It's a pity that Mino Raiola is not coming to a loser club like Tottenham. But I hear you. Nice thought.
What was your last one? Oh, Champions of Europe. I know it's a great feeling, but yeah, that's good stuff. Are you hopeful about your chances in the Club World Cup? I don't know what to ask you here.
No, you don't have to ask anything. I'm not really looking for feedback. Chelsea are champions of Europe, whether you like it or not.
Who are you playing in your the Club World Cup? Do you know yet?
No, that's not out yet. But we are playing Villarreal.
You are correct.
In Northern Ireland, Belfast.
In the Super Cup thing, right?
Yeah, I was looking for flights, but unfortunately, we are still red listed.
We are.
They do not want us in the United Kingdom.
Well, right now they don't want you in the United Kingdom.
Well, I don't know. As a Chelsea fan, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in West London Okay, come on down. Come on up, my brother.
As someone with a piece of paper that says you have tested positive for COVID, I don't think you'd be the first person they let in.
Well, the game's not within the next 10 days, so don't worry about it. In fact, why am I talking to you about this? You know nothing
I do.
about success.
I went through the period of success where we won the Champions League, and then immediately afterwards we won the Premier League, and we won the Club World Cup, and we won the Super Cup, and we lost out on the Community Shield, but we don't need an oversized dinner plate in our trophy cabinet.
Sure.
I know what it feels like. I know where you're sitting right now. Life feels good.
No, you don't. You've won one league title in 30 years. You have no clue what a club that's won 5 in 19 years feels like at all. So I don't want to hear from Liverpool fans for this off-season, because number one, Chelsea's had 2 dynasties in the time that you've had no dynasties in the last 30 years. So do me a favor.
I have nothing to say. I don't.
Yeah, so that's going to be me all season. Just anyone that kind of comes with their junk, Chelsea are champions of Europe. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, look, it's a great feeling. Bask in it, because it won't happen again anytime soon.
Oh, fantastic. You know what? These are the same people that told us when we won in 2012 with 6 injuries. And we had Ryan Bertrand, Salomon Kalou. Who else did we have? I think Ramirez might have started that game. Raul Mireles started that game. Bosingwa, John Obi Mikel, and we won that Champions League game with an injured David Luiz at centre back with Gary Cahill. That said we'd never win it again, and here we are.
Well, look, I didn't say Chelsea would never win it again. I just didn't expect it to be so soonish. I thought there'd be a couple of more years,
Yeah. All right, haters gonna hate.
Potatoes gonna potate.
Is that what people say?
Well, it was like a thing a while ago, like a couple of years ago.
Hate. I want to be honest from the bottom of my heart. Hate it.
Haters gonna hate, potatoes gonna potate.
Yeah. Hate it. So now, James, got some bad news.
Well, that's not good.
Because of COVID yesterday, and my deep suffering. Also, I had other work to do. Some cool work came in, so I had to become this person, typing on my laptop. Didn't really get to watch any Netflix stuff last night. I will certainly be catching up this weekend. You've given no good recommendations. Do you maybe want to give me one?
The only reason why I haven't is because A, you just shoot down my recommendations anyway, and B, I think we have very, very different tastes when it comes to films and TV. I know what you should watch.
I'm writing it down. I've got a pen in my hand.
Are you into documentaries?
Just make the recommendation. James, we're not on a date. You're not trying to get me on a second date. Just tell me what you're thinking. If I hate it, I'm going to tell you.
I want to know if you're into documentaries before I waste my breath.
Doesn't matter. I'm asking for a recommendation. Give it to me, and then we'll move on. What are we doing here? Are you hoping for a second date?
Okay, everyone relax. Everyone calm down, okay?
I calmed down. Sorry, I was at an 8 there.
You were?
We turned it down to a 4.
This COVID has really changed you as a human.
COVID changed everything.
So I have told you about this one before. I'm not sure if it was on the show or not, though. But
Okay.
It's called The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel.
Is that the boring one with the person at the elevator?
Yes, dude, please watch it. It's so good.
Okay, what's it called?
The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. I think it's 4 or 5 episodes.
Cool. All right, one's enough. I'm not your girlfriend. I don't have to listen to your whole life.
I was going to give you a sports murder documentary.
No. One's enough. Do me a favor. You got a girlfriend to run your mouth to, and no, one's enough. I mean, unbelievable. This is the problem with people: is give them a sandwich and they want the whole kitchen. You know what I mean?
You're that person. You literally said in the show the other day that if someone offers you a chip, you want the whole bag.
I do.
So.
Or nothing. No. You must say the whole thing. If you offer me a chip and I say, oh, well, I want the whole packet, I don't want the, oh, okay, well, something is better than nothing. No. Then keep your chips. I can afford my own. Why is that so crazy?
COVID's changed you.
No, that was before COVID.
That,
I mean, COVID has changed everything.
it has.
Very, very
It has.
And the other thing that's really important, as somebody with COVID, unless you've had COVID, please don't pretend to understand, because you can't.
I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Man, you know, it is one thing that's kind of happened now. You know what people are terrible at, James?
Wait, I'll tell you.
Besides skipping ropes. Gotcha.
Okay. What are people terrible at?
COVID, James. Still sharp.
I don't like COVID, MKT.
James, you know when somebody, first of all, I've told 4 people that I've got COVID.
No.
Right? My mom, my sister, well, besides the show, right? And work colleagues and whatever. But I'm talking about people that I know in my personal capacity. And things obviously get out. The amount of these terrible, I haven't spoken to you in 8 months, I hope you're doing well now, because I heard you got COVID things that I'm getting. Is that not the biggest vomit in the world, James? Do you know what I mean? Have you ever had that? Like, people now want to feel like they're good people because I've got COVID. Oh, I just had to catch up and see how you're doing. Like, no, get the hell out of here.
You know what it is? COVID has put life into perspective.
Tell them, James. Okay, let's hear it. I like this. I like where it's going.
COVID has put life into perspective, you know? It's made people realize what's important. You know? It's made them realize that friends and family are just a phone call away.
They're everything.
Exactly.
Human connections are everything. Okay, thank you, James. Thanks for that perspective. Maybe I was just being a bit selfish.
You were.
But
You
it's
were.
I've got COVID.
Look. You are being a bit of a prima donna, right? People just want to care for you.
Yeah, it's true. You know, one of the things that being in isolation for 4 days has made me realize
Is that your
if you wanna be
underfloor
loved-
heating is incredible.
Well, it's on right now, by the way. The underfloor heating is toasting. Thanks for asking, Jade. I wasn't going to bring it up, but my word. Anyway, my point actually was I'm fine, and if you haven't checked on me in 11 months, I'm as fine as I was without you. Like, let's not do this. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable. Because you know what people are doing is, I want to be in your suffering. Like, no, leave me alone. Those who love me and are always asking how I'm doing, like once every 2 weeks, because life's busy. I'm not saying, and I'm not a check-in on people type of person. That is not me. But there is 4 or 5 people every 2 weeks. I need to make sure I'm in touch. You know what I'm saying?
Look, maybe you should open your heart more. You know? It hasn't.
To what?
It's so easy to trigger you.
People are so soft. People are so soft.
I believe they're called snowflakes.
Well, I don't want to be that guy, because sometimes people get called snowflakes if they're struggling with mental health, and that's just not true.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
sometimes, because I'm the type of meathead guy, because I'm not like an intellectual. So I am the type of meathead guy who will dismiss important things like mental health on occasions and have done in the past. So the term snowflake is just an easy throwaway thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'd rather say, and quite frankly, let's actually zone in on who I'm talking about. They live in suburbs like me, and they whinge at everything. Those are the people I'm talking about in particular. So not people that are poor, not people that have mental health problems. I mean people like me and James. If you live in the suburbs I live in, if you live in New York, in Zurich, and these people whose lives are just hard all the time, you are who I'm talking about.
Oof.
And I don't want to hear from you.
Oof. You're all
So I don't
triggered
want to
now,
call
huh?
you snowflakes.
You're even pointing at people with a pen.
I will, and I will. All right, the vanishing at the Cecil Hotel.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'd love to know. I'm at MKT Inspires on social media. Let me know what you're thinking in terms of Netflix, Amazon. What series are you watching? And you know what? Over the next 10 days, I may actually watch one or two.
Definitely not the Cecil Hotel one, because my ideas
It's,
always get shot down,
it's
huh?
not off the cards, James. I may watch it. Thank you for the recommendation. I maybe came out a little bit hot out of the gates there. Forgive me, I'm not at my best. Because if you haven't heard, I've got COVID.
If I have to hear one more time that you have COVID,
Right, Jimbo, should we
that's
allow the folks at home to actually take it all in?
yes,
Um, and kind of think, you know, I'm at work right now, is what some people may be saying.
correct.
And they may say to themselves, I can't ignore this annoying, I don't know, Zanele, who always makes me do her work. And her uncle owns this company. It's the only reason she's here. And she just blabbers the whole day. I can't actually ignore her because I'll get fired because it's nepotism.
Mm.
But I'd rather be listening to the MKT show.
It's a great
You know, for
show.
some people, they can only listen to this on audio. We have a solution. When that annoying Zanele goes away, or maybe you're at home, or wherever it is, driving in your car, go to cliffcentral.com, Cliff Central app, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can actually listen to this show without that annoying Zanele who doesn't do her own work at work. We all know this person, right, guys?
Um, are we talking about the annoying person at work?
Yeah, like who forces everyone else. Like they're a charming person,
I
or their uncle owns the company, or their dad owns the company, and they're actually an annoyance, and they don't know how to do the work, and they just become annoying for everyone. And you can't ignore them though, because their family owns the business, or
I
whatever. You know what I mean?
I did know a couple of those people.
Yes, and they're the worst. And now they're denying people from listening to this show, but they can do that and get the podcast, the MKT Show, Spotify, cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app, or wherever you get your podcast. Yeah, I'm saying, Jim.
100%. And then also, give us a rating, all of the above.
Yes.
Let us know your true thoughts about how MKT has been changed due to COVID.
Yeah, do all of that. Looking forward to hearing that. If you are with us on YouTube, please click a like, subscribe to the channel, share, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend, the greatest sports show they haven't heard yet. All right, Jumbo, let's intermission. The MKT Show. See you in a bit. MKT Show. Great Friday we're having. At least I'm having a great Friday. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm making the best of it. You know what I mean? It's a good life. It's a great day in Johannesburg. Nice and warm. The sun's out. It's there's a worse place to live on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like under a bridge, or I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah. No, I mean there are lots of places that are worse than where I live. Lots. I'd say 99.9% of the world is probably worse than where I live. I'm safe. It's nice. It's not noisy. There's not like cool kids like James that just want to party all the time around me. It's a bunch of adults, great South Africans, all at work, contributing to the tax base. You know what I mean?
Sure. Look,
No, you wouldn't know anything, James.
well, that's
No,
because things that bother you don't really bother me. So,
oh, what do you mean? Like people contributing to the
well,
fiscus?
remember, I'm the bigger problems in the world guy. So, like the young
No,
adults
James.
partying thing,
There are no bigger problems than people paying taxes.
that's not what I
If
was
people
talking
don't
about.
pay taxes, kind of sounded like it.
No, I was talking about the better places to be thing. I mean,
Oh, well, I mean, I'm fine. I'm safe. As long as I'm safe, it's the best place in the world. I don't need a lot.
I don't need a little. I couldn't remember the lyrics of that song.
What's it called?
Well, if I knew, I'd tell you. But he goes, I don't need a lot. I don't need a little. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know it. I hate it already. Sounds terrible. It's probably a pop song.
It is. It is.
Do you listen to those pop songs when you're feeling alone, like Adele or?
My music's heavily dependent on my mood. But one of the best investments I've ever made was Samsung Galaxy Buds. So it's the Bluetooth ones. And like when I'm doing the dishes or like I'm busy with something, I just pop them in and like I'm constantly listening to music, always. If I'm not watching TV or like Netflix, I'm listening to music. So
Nice.
depends on my mood to answer your question.
And does your phone sense your mood? I mean, how do you?
I have a lot of playlists, so I just, I do a little bit of introspection.
Oh my goodness, here we go. Okay, let's hear it.
No, honestly, I just click on Apple Music and then find the.
Do you have playlists for? I fought with my girlfriend. I had a good day with my mom.
I know what music is for what mood. So when it's like those kinds of things, I don't have
Yeah,
playlists per se. More just I know which artists to listen to.
I see what you're saying. All right, that's awesome, James. That's awesome, man. Music's it's a very healing thing.
It is. It is. Music's
Yeah.
incredible. You know?
Well, not all of it.
Well, look, yeah, some of it is absolute garbage.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of garbage.
like Kanye West.
Listen, I think there's a lot of garbage in every industry in the world. Music's no different. Books are no different. Movies are no different. Like I've always said, 95% of the world is a waste of your time. It's hard to hear that, but it's applicable across the board. In music made, art, even if you're an accountant, they know. You get into that world, there's only 5% of companies you want to work at, 5% of colleagues you want to be around. Whatever you're doing, accounting, actuarial science, scientists themselves. So I hear you, James. Keep rocking.
That's all I do, all day, every day. I just
You
rock,
just,
all the
you
time,
just rock out.
all the time.
Just rock out.
That's all I do. Rock out with your. Nope, not gonna finish that one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to hear your mom. Do you swear in front of your parents, James?
I'm not around them often, because 12,000,
Oh, 'cause they
12,
moved
12.
away.
Yeah, they did.
Because they don't want to have you at the Afrikaans event where you embarrass the whole family with
Yeah.
your English habits.
James, you're the weird creative child. We're actually moving 1,200 kilometers away from you.
That's not the problem. It sounds like your mom doesn't mind the weird creative thing, because you can be Afrikaans and weird and creative. It's just the fact that you're trying to actually erase the Afrikaans side of yourself, and you can't have that. So your mom she's actually protecting herself from you, like that lady. I don't know if you remember the South African lady who didn't want to answer a question, and she said, "You have to help me protect me from yourself." You can see that. So I think that's what your mom's doing right now. Shout out to your mom, dude. Moms are always looking out for their sons. All right, James. Listen, this Antonio Conte thing.
Yes.
Has actually got me. It's got me feeling some kind of way.
Okay. Sure.
I can't understand some people. But it made me think in the break, maybe I'm on the spectrum. Like, because I'm so blind to so many things in life. Like, when people do certain things that are inevitably self-destructive, because I've been self-destructive for a long time. So when I see, it's like, no, you know it, he knows it. Why even start? You know? Like, one of the things in life somebody taught me as I was working my way out of my self-imposed mire was that the hardest thing in life is getting out of your own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Spurs just can't get out of their own way. Like they can't help but put themselves in situations where they're failing.
They had a very good squad at a point. Back when, remember I told you they had like 6 or 7 of the England squad that was selected on a regular basis were Tottenham players. And now it just seems like nothing clicks anymore at the club.
Why do you fire Poch? It was perfect.
They didn't do too well in the season after that final.
No, they came 5th. But that's what you are. Like, plus, you had the new stadium coming. So just keep him, let him transition, kind of like Atletico have done brilliantly with Diego Simeone. I thought Poch was perfect for Spurs.
I think being a Tottenham fan must be one of the most frustrating things in the world because, like, as a City fan, you know, for the last sort of couple of years and maybe 1 or 2 more years, you're sort of rest assured that you'll come top 3 at least. You have Champions League the following season, and like you know that as a City fan.
Yeah.
But as a Tottenham fan, you have no idea where you stand. You don't know if you're going to finish 5th. You don't know if you're going to finish 10th. You have no idea. So I think being a Tottenham fan is probably the hardest thing to do on this planet. Harder than rocket science.
Yeah, listen, that is tough. Ian Dowie and his brother, they also not only world-class football managers, they're also rocket scientists. So shout out to his family, both him and his twin brother. Imagine that.
Are they both rocket scientists?
Oh yeah, both worked at NASA.
And then,
how insane is that?
How did they find themselves in football?
Oh, when you're that smart. Listen, James, if you can figure out string theory, I'm pretty sure you can figure out 4-4-2.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, okay, so your daily job, you have to report to Cape Canaveral and do your rocket things. What clicked in both of their heads one day where they were like, hey, let's go into football actually? Like, where was the like, you know what I mean?
Like, I don't know what you mean. So what are you saying? Because they're rocket scientists, they can't love football?
No, it's just the furthest, probably one of the furthest professions from football.
Ian Robin has a master's in IT.
Didier Drogba has an honorary degree.
Well, it's not a real degree. I mean, shout out to Drogba, but I'm just saying, no, I don't know what you mean. Like, smart people, like my ex-girlfriend, who has 2 doctorates, by the way, she was also a snowboarder for Denmark. So this is what smart people do, right? Like, smart people don't do it like me and you, like they can only do one thing. I don't know if you've ever met this personality type. Often when people are like a surgeon, they'll also need to be a pilot, but also they need to play like an instrument. So you've obviously never dated this personality type or
No.
met it. Yeah. So
No.
there are eight. They call them A type. Is they can never turn it off. So, in fact, both of my ex-girlfriends were like this. One was a surgeon and snowboarded for Slovakia, and the other one had a doctorate as well and snowboarded for Denmark. But we're also playing an instrument at a high level, and it's a really interesting personality type. So it makes complete sense to me that these guys could do this.
Is there a reason you dated two snowboarders, just out of interest? Like, why are both of
Um,
them snowboarders?
you know what? When you do meet that type of personality, is that often if they've taken it to that level in their sport, they're taking it to that level in their life. So I do like people that take it to the next level. That is a very attractive thing to me.
No, but I just mean, why are both of them why are both of them snowboarders?
Uh, well, the one I met at a ski resort,
Okay, fair
and
enough.
the other is from Denmark. I mean, like if she's not playing football, what else would she be doing in that frozen tundra?
Baking bread. Don't they bake bread in Denmark or something?
No. Look, I actually met her at the Large Hadron Collider. So again, I'm not
Making.
going to be meeting a baker at the sort of epicenter of science.
So, if you had a baby with her, guess you could say you were making danishes.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does, because she's Danish.
That doesn't make any sense.
She's Danish. You're making little danishes.
But you should have done I don't know, a choc chip Danish delight or something like that. That makes sense. A Danish mocha delight. But even if it was just a Danish guy with her, that would work.
You're just making little danishes.
Doesn't make sense.
You see, if you didn't have COVID, you would have laughed at that. We'd be sitting in the studio right now laughing about it.
Well, no, I've got to hold you to a higher standard than that because that doesn't work. There isn't anything there. She's Danish, whether I'm there or not. The funny part would have been if you said, "Oh, you're making choc Danish delights." You see how that works?
I thought it was funny.
James, I'm not gonna. You know how I'm a real friend.
How?
I'm not just gonna tell you what you want to hear. I'm gonna hold you to a standard. You know what I'm saying? All right. Welcome back to the MKT Show. So we're doing report cards, and I thought I'd finish off on this fine Friday by doing Liverpool's report card. So we'll get into it now. I'll deliver that, and then James will see us into the weekend with social media with James. So let's start off with the report card for the dynasty that never was. Let's start off with the squad. Look, the defense was a shambles, and right now, I don't want to hear it. Right? This idea that injuries are unique to Liverpool is asinine. One thing we must all do in life, and I often struggle with this, we want all the credit for our methods working, and when they are part of the failure, we never want to hear it. We want to hear unlucky. Sorry, you don't get that excuse with me. Jurgen Klopp and the heavy metal approach is a big part of the injuries. So stop acting confused as to why Liverpool's players are injured. That style in England, this isn't Germany where 15 of the games in a season are really a game off, right? Is if you're going to get credit for heavy metal when it works, you must absorb all of the criticism when it doesn't, and I don't want to hear excuses. So don't give me those excuses. All right, let's get into the squad. The defense was an F. Allison's had his worst season ever. For a world record signing, I didn't sign you for one good season. It's not acceptable, the level Alisson played at this season. It is not. Because he was a world record fee for a keeper. When you come for that number, right, Peter Cech, Peter Schmeichel, Edwin van der Sar, I need 5 years of greatness. It was unacceptable what I saw from Alisson this season. And you better be careful. My father used to say, people believe them the first time. He's crumbled after one season of success. Boy, oh boy. If you've read Fergie's book, Fergie says once a top goalkeeper starts making mistakes, that never stops. And he used to get rid of them immediately. I'm just telling you, as a Liverpool fan, so the defense is shocking. Trent can't defend on the right. Listen, as a right back, I don't care what you can do going forward if you can't defend. You are useless to me. In life we call it, and in business we call it, a primary function. You are useless as a father or a mother or a brother if you are not good to your family, but you're nice to the next door neighbors. Your primary function as a family member is to be good to your own first. You are useless as a CEO, right? If you are good to your, your friends, but you don't know how to look after the books of your own company. Your primary function as a CEO is to look after your own company. Your primary function as a right back is to look after your goalkeeper and your centre backs. Everything else is icing. Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I know the hype because it's Twitter time and he's got tremendous delivery, was awful this season. The young kids will say it this way: keep the main thing the main thing. You got exposed this season, and I'm sorry, that ain't going to be it. And at the back, Van Dijk, obviously Gomez, Matip, the injuries, but I've covered that. I don't want to hear it. Heavy metals are part of the reason everyone got injured. Get over it. It's an F for the defense. The midfield make no sense. I said at the beginning of this season, when everybody said Liverpool will win it again, I said no chance. Because I've seen Chelsea and I've seen Man City and I saw their great Man United teams who would dominate for 5-6 years. When they won, they improved. Liverpool didn't improve in a single position after they won. And folks, if you're not getting better, you're standing still. And if you're standing still, you're dying. That is the rule in business. Liverpool stood still. Thiago was not an upgrade. He's old, he's brittle, and I love him as a player. But the Premier League is uncompromising, and it may take him another season to adjust. Henderson injured, Fabinho in and out, injured. It ain't going to work. It's been an awful, awful season. It's been an awful season, and it's an F in midfield because they didn't improve, and if anything, got much worse. And it's all down to the manager, by the way. He signed Naby Keita, he signed Thiago, he decided not to upgrade in the midfield. He signed Oxlade-Chamberlain, another injury-prone guy. Keita, injury-prone. Thiago, injury-prone. Henderson, injury-prone. That's on the manager. No excuse. No excuses. Up front, this is the saving grace, right? Mo Salah, he delivered. He did what he does. Now he won't defend, but it's not his core function. It's not his job, primarily, to defend. Sadio Mane wasn't as good as normal, but he was still pretty good. Bobby Firmino, you know what you're getting there. For me, a B+. Eventually, they turned it around, and that front three for the last 6 games were on song. And without them, Liverpool aren't where they are this season. It's all about that front three. It is all about the front three. They've been sensational for the last, in fact, the last 10 games, but the last 6 in particular, they went into overdrive. B plus up front, but for the squad of players, it's an E plus. Folks, availability is an ability, and I have to judge you on that. If you're injured, sorry, you're not getting a break from me. Captain Henderson, listen, he's been brilliant, whether you like him or not. Nobody thinks he's the best player, but he's been brilliant for Liverpool. He's been magnificent, in fact, for Liverpool. But again, I'm not praising you for one good season. Quite frankly, one great season. He was injured the whole season. And nowhere, quite frankly. One season is not enough. It's a failure on his part. If you want to join the conversations of the greats, Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, John Terry, Roy Keane, Robson, you want to start getting into these conversations, you're going to have to hang around for 5 years and be available. You can't be injured. Be available to lead your troops if you want to start joining those generations. Because now, Liverpool fans have told me how great Henderson is. I have to judge him by John Terry standards, right? By these great captains. That's the standard now. And you went from first, and now you're third. That ain't it. That is a drastic failure. Management, most of the club's failures go here. I said it before. Liverpool did not improve. The time to improve is when you're victorious. That's when you improve. You don't wait until things are a disaster, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to drop 200 million in this window. It's too late now. United are too far ahead. City are too far ahead. And if you don't think Chelsea are going to drop another 200 to add to the 250 they dropped last year, you're crazy. The time to improve was last year. Jurgen Klopp, you missed the trick. And look, there is a pattern now. He's got a thing for signing highly injured players. Be honest. Matip, Gomez, Thiago, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Henderson. I love Henderson. I love, Henderson represents everything you want. Pro's pro. First guy there. He'll take people on the pitch. He sets the tone. Okay, but this is when we needed you. And if you're not available, you're not useful to me. But Henderson didn't sign himself. Thiago didn't sign himself. Keita didn't sign himself. Matip didn't sign himself. Gomez didn't promote himself. These are all highly injured guys, right? It's been a disaster with the signings, be honest. Keita was £70 million. He hasn't played. And ultimately, you've got to say, Liverpool got fleeced a bit because Arsenal have done a number on them. They got 35 million for Oxlade-Chamberlain. Where's he been for 3 seasons? So you got to say, Jurgen has to take the blame. And after Dynasty and all of this and heavy metal, it's an F for management. I mean, what a drastic fall. 1 league title and you fall off like that. That ain't it. So, number 1, and I'm tired of hearing it, but it's the last time I'll address it. You're not a dynasty. You haven't gone back to back. Essentially, what you are is Leicester and Blackburn with a budget. It's 1 title, You don't get more titles because you're Liverpool. It's one title. It has been an incredible failure. And it's only a failure because I've heard the media and I've heard Liverpool fans call themselves a potential dynasty. Some of the madness I had to listen to last year was unbearable. It ain't happening again because City are too far ahead, and in one season, you've fallen behind Manchester United, and it is so sad. This season as a Liverpool fan has to be such a gut punch because you thought, oh, it's been 30 years, we're here now, and then all the hype, and it's going to be a dynasty, and Jurgen Klopp is here, and we're probably going to win the league again. No, you're not. And I've said this to you before. Liverpool's main problem was that for so long they were the hunter. And this happens with lots of people, is that when you are the hunted, and now the motivation has to be intrinsic. You can't be saying we're chasing Man United, we're chasing Chelsea, we're chasing Man City. Now you are everybody's Champions League final every week. Liverpool fans saw exactly what the club is this season. When you got the best of everyone every season, this is what has made Chelsea phenomenal, Man United phenomenal, Man City phenomenal over the last 20 years. Is that you have been everyone's Champions League final, but my God, Fergie kept delivering. Chelsea have kept delivering. Man City have kept delivering for the last 20 years. Liverpool had one season of it. They became Brighton. And you got to be honest, it's an F if you're a Liverpool fan. And if you don't think it's an F, it tells me everything that Liverpool is. And for me, F for failure. That's what I give the club for this season. You might be happy with third, then it tells me everything you are. Because as a Chelsea fan, top 4, FA Cup final, and a Champions League win, I'm not happy. I don't want Thomas Tuchel thinking you won a Champions League title, we're appeased. No. We've done doubles here. Carlo Ancelotti won a league and FA Cup double. We've seen success here. We're not about to settle for a Champions League victory and say that's good enough. This is a big summer for Liverpool to decide what are we happy with. And John W. Henry will not be happy. Believe you me. He will not be happy because billionaires don't like to lose. They built $1 billion over 20, 30. It may even be family money, and success breeds success. He will not be happy. James, Jimbo, Lingsley, you support Liverpool. Your thoughts?
Wow, what an assessment, huh? I even took notes about your assessment.
You're a big-time journalist.
I am big-time journalist, producer, content creator,
Beard guy.
But to name a few. So you say that injuries are not unique to Liverpool. I hear that, and I hear when you say that availability is the best ability. But you do also have to look at it from and before I say what I'm about to say, I do agree. Liverpool's season has been shambolic. We've gone from Champions League winners to Premier League winners to, we made third place. Good show, guys. We made third place, and I think like round of 16 FA Cup. Good on us. Good. But you also have to look at it from a point of view of our stars being injured in such a competitive league. It is one thing to have injuries, but when a lot of it is your star players and the players that are supposed to control your midfield and your entire back line, there are going to be problems and there is going to be a dip in form. So I think a little bit harsh on the analysis. I wasn't one of the Liverpool fans that was under the impression that we are now a dynasty. I I did get my hopes up a little bit. Um, but I mean, to be midway through the season and close to the second page of the log, um, coming from winning the Premier League, is absolutely shambolic. Terrible stuff. But again, in such a competitive league where a lot of our team, in the positions uh, that are expected to control entire sections of our formation, those players being out doesn't assist us that much. I mean, you have players like Bukayo Saka, who's 18, 19 years old, and he is a rising star. The Premier League is incredibly competitive right now. So, yeah, I think, again, a little bit harsh. Henderson, I think a little bit of poor leadership this season. Yes, he's been injured, but I think I saw injured Virgil van Dijk at more Liverpool games than I saw injured Henderson. And that's important because, as Van Dijk, he's injured, but he's in the stands, and I guarantee you he's, before Milner gets subbed on, he's having words with Milner, or before Thiago gets subbed on, he's having words with Thiago. So, and that's incredible leadership. You're helping the team when you can't help the team. And I don't think I saw much of that from Henderson this season. So again, poor leadership. On the other hand, not having him controlling our midfield, big issues. But then on the other hand, again, we're Liverpool Football Club. So it shouldn't be a thing of, okay, we're out with Henderson. What do we do now? We should have the backup to come in that's not injured, that can fill the gap that Henderson leaves when he is injured. And it's a huge gap. I'm not saying that Henderson is the best midfielder in the world, but he is a large part of how our midfield runs and how our back line is sort of shaped throughout the game. So, could have been a better leader this season. Mentality, last season and the season before, we were mentality monsters. This season, just complacent. I think we've been on this perch, or we've come from being on this perch of champions of Europe and champions of England, and I think somewhere along the lines, the players became a little bit complacent. This is easy now. We've dominated Europe. This is easy now. We, running 26 games unbeaten in a very competitive Premier League. We're the best of the best. And then you go out and lose to, I think, Burnley was our only loss that season, if I'm not mistaken. And that just shows that there's complacency. We had...
Listen, you also have to take this into account. It's difficult for Liverpool fans to not immediately go into the history thing. But for 30 years, you didn't know how to win a league title, whether you like that or not. Is that the problem is that the institution wasn't built to win. And the reason is, the reason how we know that, is they hadn't won, right? Like the evidence is you weren't built to win because you hadn't won. Now you can make Man United, Chelsea, Man City excuses all you want. You did not compete at the right level in the business model that is the Premier League. When you did win, it came as a bigger shock than we were ready for it. Because if you were ready for it, you would have gone the Man City or the Chelsea route. Because it's clear that money at Liverpool is not the problem. You broke the world record for the goalkeeper. You broke the world record for a centre-back. And again, I'm not going to let Liverpool fans get away with these excuses about injuries. Nobody forced you to pay £90 million for a centre-back because you could have got 3 centre-backs for that number. And then you wouldn't have this problem, right? So, again, it's so difficult when you win to realize that now you got to keep winning. Like, nobody is going to give Liverpool an award for winning. Like, when you're winning, everybody wants to pull you down. And I just think Jurgen, and maybe even more than Jurgen, I just think Liverpool weren't ready for what it takes to keep on keeping on. Because ultimately, all the great coaches say, winning's the easy part. Now, so when you stay there, that's another level. And I think on the injury front, Jurgen has to take the responsibility and say, I took a gamble. I spent 75 on the keeper. I spent 90 on the centre back. I spent the money, 70 mil on Keita. That probably I could have bought 3 or 4 players in each position for that number. So that's on Jurgen, because he made that call to invest heavily in single individuals, which left the squad thin. This is where people keep telling me Man City and all this money and all this spending, people in glass houses. He didn't go and spend 90 on a keeper. He spent 30 on a keeper, on Edison. What that allows him to do is have Cancelo and Walker, right? Then he can have Diaz, Stones, and whoever else he needs a centre-back. He can have Laporte as a third option, because he's not spending 90 on any of them. He's spending 30. At left back, he's got Zinchenko, and then he can have the Shark as backup. In the midfield, he's not spending 70 on Keita, right? He's spending 45 on Riyad Mahrez. He's spending 38 on Silva. You understand what I mean? Is part of Pep's brilliance is understanding that his style is demanding. He's going to make sure that he's got 2 in every position. And Jurgen mustn't escape the blame for not having cover. We mustn't let him have that out. Because Fergie did it brilliantly. People hated Fletcher and John O'Shea and all these guys. But Fergie always had cover.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's irritated me this season. Is that we haven't had that cover. Every week it's come out and it's like, oh no, now Robertson's injured or whatever, and then it's like, okay, so who we're putting on the field? Robertson was a terrible example because we do have cover for him.
And also he's unbreakable.
Exactly.
He played all 38 games.
He was a terrible example. Virgil van Dijk. Okay, so injured very, very early on in the season. You had January to rectify the hole that was left. You bought new players. But having to buy players midway through a season, anyone knows, is not advisable, because then you've got to play the rest of the season with a player that's kind of adjusting still to being a new player and the Liverpool way and all of that stuff. So, and I mean, we wouldn't have had to make that investment if we had the cover in the first place. And I mean, a centre-back position to not have cover in is, it's honestly beyond me. On the upside, though, in the graphic for Liverpool's report card, I don't know if you saw, but there was a tweet that said every player that Liverpool played at centre-back this season suffered at least one injury, and yet Manchester United still conceded more goals than Liverpool. So there was a point this season where we were playing 2 midfielders as our centre-backs, and we did that for 2 games in a row. I watched both games. It made my eyes bleed because it was the most horrendous defending I've ever seen in my entire life. But there's a silver lining. We still conceded less goals than Manchester United.
What it tells you how bad you were, and you still finished way behind them.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, points-wise, yeah, but position-wise, I don't know. I think I'm heavily against, everyone knows I'm heavily against the money that's in football, but Liverpool have to stop being scared to make purchases, and it's a big thing. They never invest in proper players, if that makes sense. They always invest in some random dude from Greece or some nobody from Austria or something. And then as Liverpool fans, you're expected to sort of be like, oh, okay, cool, we've made a signing. That's really great. Like, this guy's going to fit in. You don't know what to make of every signing that Liverpool do.
Listen, Liverpool have to swallow this bitter pill. Jurgen Klopp's personality, and it always happens in football clubs, the club will become the personality of the manager. He's high risk, high reward. So instead of spending, I'd probably push back a bit and say, spend the money properly. You shouldn't be breaking the world record for for Alisson. You shouldn't be breaking the world record for Virgil van Dijk. Sorry. Because here's what happens, right? This is exactly what happens. So Liverpool have spent. Please, let's not pretend they haven't spent.
Yeah.
Cater, 70 mil. I don't want to go into all the numbers. What you've got to do, and this is a great analogy for a relationship as well. If you marry somebody who's high energy, you can't complain on a Sunday night when they're high energy. The problem with Jurgen Klopp, because of the high energy stuff, players are going to get injured. It happened at Dortmund. So you can't have it both ways as Liverpool fans. You can't be the Messiah and then you don't want to live with this side of it. This is what happens when you have a demanding person who's high risk, high reward. And he took the risk with Van Dijk. He took the risk with Alisson. You had a season and a half of rewards. But there's a dark side to it. It's that when it goes wrong with Jurgen, and it's same at Mainz, same at Dortmund at the end, when it goes wrong, it's spectacularly wrong. For me, it's the difference between him and Pep. Pep is a strategist. He's always thinking next. Jurgen and his personality type is now. And I don't know if you can turn that off. And this is what happens. When you have now thinking, you don't think about next season. You don't think about 3 seasons down the road. You just think about break the world record for the keeper, break the world record for Van Dijk, spend 70 million on Cater, even though you could have got 3 midfielders for that cost. You could have gotten Basuma and Ndidi maybe. So these are the things you have to live with. And I'm not forgiving Jurgen because he's brilliant when he's brilliant, but he's catastrophic when he's not.
It has been a tough season as a Liverpool fan. Yeah, I think I don't know what else there is to say. It's a season that's been shambolic, but also high.
What would you give Liverpool as a grade, James? Now you the headmaster. I said F, failure of the season.
What's above the F?
You as a Liverpool fan.
What's above F? It's E. Is it just the alphabet to F, right? Yeah, that's just a stupid question. I don't know. Maybe an E or a generous D.
So D plus, you say?
Yeah, I think.
Or D minus. Because a D plus is close to a C.
Yeah, no, maybe a D or a D minus. I think, yeah, it's been shambolic. We weren't where we should have been, but we finished strong, which is even as a Liverpool fan to say feels weird because it's like we're Liverpool Football Club. We shouldn't be complacent with a round of 16 FA Cup, 3rd place Premier League, I think also round of 16 Champions League if I'm not mistaken. That's just where, I don't know, D.
A D, huh?
Not ecstatic, not terribly sad about it.
Tough stuff, Jimbo. Tough stuff. You'll have to bounce back, pal.
Hey, we've got 2 Virgil van Dijks now, so.
Listen, that went on a little longer than I thought it would. Good stuff there, Jimbo.
It did.
Liverpool, I could see the emotions on your face, how much it's hurt you. But hey, that's football and that's business, baby.
Andrew Harrison says, "What's above an F?" And then he says, "Dash St. Stithians graduate."
Look, some people might say I was quoting you earlier, so I didn't want to say it when you said it. Yeah, that's tough. The fact that you left St. Stithians and you don't know how the alphabet works is insane. But I don't want to get into it. Let's finish off on a positive note. James, we're not going to have time today for social media with James. Maybe let's jump straight into the comments and we'll finish off on that and head into the weekend.
Cool. Kutle says, at the start of lockdown, my weight was 110, then shot up to 140. My mom sat me down, and now I'm 111.
Wow, that's amazing. How cool is that as a story?
Or how Kutle is that as a story?
That's good. You see, that works.
Nailed it.
That's good. Now that one works. That was very good, James. I like that. How cool is that?
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's very good. Hey, now James, how awesome is that as a thing? First of all, again, shout out to moms.
Moms are the real ones, huh?
Hey, good. Shout out to your mom. I don't know what the lovely lady's name is, and I, of course, hope she's still with us. But that's amazing, dude. Like that's what mothers do. They come through when we've hit rock bottom.
Moms are the real ones.
I hate that, James. We shouldn't reduce moms to rubbish American hip hop talk. They're just the best.
Okay. Zapeta says, at home you can do your push-ups, sit-ups, squats, lunges, exercise well for the gut, a healthy diet, and if possible some running, even if it's from one wall to the other.
Your thoughts there, James? I think that's strong feedback.
So in my apartment there's a loft in the lounge, and then it goes upstairs to like a little lounge room. So I could actually like run up and down the stairs every day.
Walk. You could walk the stairs. Forget about running. You could put your music in. So let's imagine emo beard guy playlist or whatever you've got. Put that in for 45 minutes. I'm telling you, James, walk up and down those stairs for 45 minutes and let me know what it feels like. Right? Walk. Don't like people always want to start and run and these big things. Small goals. Walk 45 minutes. Put in your douchebag music playlist, whatever you're gonna make. Pretty sure your lady's probably sent you some cool playlists. Put that in, 45 minutes, and cruise.
It's not a terrible idea, huh?
It's a great idea. It's a great idea. But hey, Zapeta, great suggestion. What else we got, Jimbo?
Kutle says, my advice is eat in moderation, find a workout routine, and be... I was going to shout, but I know this mic is sensitive because he put it in all capitals, but I'm not going to shout.
James, not only is that mic sensitive, you're sensitive.
That is true. I am.
Yeah.
I'm a sensitive
Cowboys
soul.
do cry.
They do. Go Cowboys.
All right, read the whole thing.
My advice is to eat in moderation, find a workout routine, and be consistent.
Routine, listen. Consistency is everything. You have to, just in life in general. If you're looking to change. So, James, before you start this process, right, and I will get preachy about health and wellness.
Yeah.
Or the way I like to think about it when I talk to people is that don't think about changing your weight because that's not sustainable. Think about changing your life. Think, in 40 years, would I still be able to do this? And if you can, adopt it into your life. Because if you can do it in 40 years, then it's applicable now. And it's easy enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why walking, planks, what did Zapata had some great suggestions, right? Sit-ups, push-ups, whatever it may be. So start small. Always start small. 5 push-ups when you wake up in the morning. 10 squats before you go to bed.
Got to get that booty.
Well, yeah, you want to get that Instagram booty. That might take 3 or 4 years. You're gonna have to lift some weights for that.
Okay.
But yeah, agreed. Consistency is key.
Zapata also says that COVID has changed you. And I agree.
No, listen, I'm growing because of COVID, so I accept that feedback.
Good. Nice. That's good of you. Cool Clay says James should be a Daily Show writer. That was in response to, what did I say earlier? That you didn't like at all? It was
the Danish one.
Yes. Yeah. I think Trevor would be happy to have me as a fellow South African. Andrew Harrison says, I hear you saying Liverpool is not a dynasty at least 10 times more frequently than I hear anyone claiming the opposite.
Well, listen, in order to squash out bad ideas, you've got to completely exterminate them early. And the fact that it was rearing its ugly head, I just had to chop it off and nip it in the bud, as they say, James. Exactly like that. Harrison, you may hear it a couple more times until it's completely extinguished.
And then the last one is Andrew Harrison telling me that he's quoting me. I think that's actually going to go on my grave. It's going to say, what's above F? And then it's going to say dash James Eilsley.
James, do you ever think about your poor mother? Because there are people that know she's your mom. And when you say things like, what's above an F? You ever thought to yourself it's a reflection on her as well? You ever thought about that, or you just, it's all about you?
So, when I'm on the show, I embrace a character, right?
Okay.
And sometimes James actually comes through and says the dumb stuff.
Sorry, hang on. So what's the character you're embracing? I'm interested now.
You know, just stupidity is a little bit part of my charm.
So is that part of your character, or is that who you actually are?
Being a little bit like stupid, or coming off as stupid, is a little bit part of my sense of humor. So who I am. So sometimes it's sarcastic, and sometimes it's genuine, and then other times it just misses the filter completely and comes out of my mouth, and I'm like, James, we got to work on that filter.
So, okay, I mean, that's a beautiful answer if you're a politician. You still haven't answered my question. Do you ever think about the fact that sometimes you're a reflection on your mom, and saying what is above an F? What do you think she's doing right now as she sits trying to run a business?
Probably thinking about how much of a disappointment I am.
James,
and
I wouldn't say that. I mean, even though it's true.
You know, a thought that often probably pops into her head when I say stupid stuff is shame. At least he's good looking.
Definitely not. You know what she's thinking?
That was part of the character thing, by the way.
No, sure. I mean, what she's probably thinking is, oh my goodness, I could have had a Land Rover. Instead of sending him to that beautiful school, I could have sent him to school under a tree, and we could have saved all that money and maybe 5 or 6 more family holidays. Thoughts on that, James?
No, because...
Nah, probably not. Listen, let's also be honest. She's definitely not thinking that, because mothers will love you even if you can't actually figure out the alphabet past the 6th or 7th letter, to her, you are still golden, James. And ultimately, who cares what we think? It's all about what she thinks, right? And your mom is going to be there until the day you become worm food.
Look, word on the street is I'm hearing my name and golden child in the same sentence.
That's not word on the street. I'm cutting it right now. James, I hope you have a great weekend, pal. Tonight, you're going to pretend to be with your friends via a camera, and I hope you guys have the best time of your life. I hope whatever food you're having is healthy. I hope you get into the health routine this weekend. And on a very serious note, I'm super happy for you that you're going to be taking that journey. So good luck with starting that, and have a great weekend. I hope you chat to your lady, to your mom, to your family. And as you are in an incredibly comfortable apartment, please, let's also not feel too sorry for James. He's fine. Like, oh, boo-hoo, I was stuck in a beautiful apartment. But I hope you have a great weekend.
Sorry, at what point was I asking for sympathy?
A little bit. Like, oh, I can't actually go out tonight. A little bit, you were saying it, you know what I mean?
You think in this cold weather I actually want to be outside of my front door? There is no hope in hell. I couldn't be happier. I've got all the coffee in the world. There's food in my fridge. My Xbox is upstairs. It's the weekend. I'm chilling.
Shout out to you, chilling. Shout out to you and your loved ones, James. Have a great weekend, pal.
You too.
Yeah, all right. Listen, this show's called the MKT Show. If you're wondering to yourself, you know what? You may be going through some stuff with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you can't actually just be spending 2 hours with us live. You got to sneak it in every now and then, you know, when you go to the toilet, or I don't know what couples do to kind of avoid a fight or whatever happens in couples. This show's available as well as a podcast. It's called the MKT Show. You can find it on cliffcentral.com, the Cliff Central app, or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can kind of just work it into your lifestyle. And I hope if you are fighting with your loved one, change that this weekend, get back together, and fall in love again. You know what I'm saying, Jimbo?
Absolutely. You gotta
fall in love again.
Again. Nice.
And I hope you love this show. Before you go, click like, ladies and gentlemen. It has been week 1 of 2 weeks, because we will be quarantining until next Friday as well. So we'll do this all again next week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Jimbo, you're the best, pal. To those of you at home, you're incredible. Click like, smash subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the MKT Show. But for now, we are the hell out of here.